Welcome to the Circuit of Success Podcast.
The Circuit of Success Podcast.
With your host,
Brett
Gilliland.
Brett Gilliland, Visionary Wealth Advisory.
The Circuit of Success Podcast. Let's start the show.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Beyond. We're excited to have you all and excited to have Mr. Matt Adams with us. If we can all give a round of applause for Matt being with us tonight. Better fight that traffic coming over here, huh?
Yeah, it was wasn't great, the construction. They got to get that figured out.
Yeah, it's been bad for like a few months, and it's I'm tired of it. I'm done. If anybody's like me, you go off like some of the other exit ramps and act like you're getting off and then get back on, and my wife gets mad. She's like, don't do that in my car. You can do it in your car. So, well, again, Matt, thanks for having us. Everybody knows Matt, but here's just a few little things about Matt. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals, obviously, the Atlanta Braves, the Nationals, was a 2019 World Series champion. It's a big deal. Played for the Rockies. Here's a stat I thought was cool. 396 of his 624 career hits are with the St. Louis Cardinals, and 59 of his 118 home runs are with the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think you knew that.
No, stats I did not know.
So almost over half of your home runs are with us. So that's awesome. And he's married to Kim. Kim is in real estate with Wells Michael Collective in St. Louis. So those of you looking to buy a home in St. Louis, call his wife. But Matt, in all honesty, so thanks for being here. But like I start every podcast with, but what has helped make you the man today? And what about the younger Matt Adams? What would he think about where you're at now?
I think the younger Matt Adams would kind of give me a hug and be proud of where I'm at today. Because say 10 years ago, I didn't really have life figured out. I was searching for a lot of stuff and maybe staying out a little bit too long and having a little too many bourbons, partying and whatnot. I took a lot of stuff for granted when I was younger. So fast forward to now, super grateful for the career that I had. My time with the St. Louis Cardinals and just really how I grew up and the man I am today, I'm super proud of.
And can everybody hear us okay, by the way? I should have asked that. Okay. What would when the lights weren't on, right, and you were a young Matt Adams and you weren't the Major League Baseball player yet, what would we have seen as kind of behind the scenes type stuff that you were doing to get where you're at?
A lot of meditating, visualization, believing that I was going to put that Cardinal uniform on. I didn't know it was going to be a Cardinal uniform then, but I knew in my mind that baseball was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, and I just didn't take no for an answer. Was looked over in college. I had an 80% ride to go to the University of Pittsburgh. They called a week after I did my visit and said, hey, we gave your scholarship to another kid from Canada. Over recruited. They offered me to walk on. I said, no, I'm not going to see the field till my junior year. Ended up going to Division II school, 50 minutes north of Pittsburgh, PA, and hit the ground running. Played my freshman year, was freshman All-American. Junior year, I was, Division II baseball player of the year. And I think that kind of helped me, played with a chip on my shoulder.
What, do we know where that kid from Canada is at now?
I don't even know if he got drafted.
He's not here.
Yeah, he's not here, that's for sure.
We need to look that guy up, but we can find out who that was. That'd be great. When did you realize that baseball was something, though, you could take it to the next level, make a career out of it?
Probably after my sophomore year of college. Got asked to go to the NECBL up in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. It was a league step down from the Cape Cod League, so playing guys that didn't get to go to the Cape, it was still ton of Division I talent, guys from, North Carolina, Clemson, UNC, all those places that baseball that's all they do. And, I was the MVP of that league. So after that summer, I was like, okay, this could be a thing, and just really got serious about training and, really put my head to it and talking with the scout that we were in talks with, and just, he gave me some advice and just ran with it.
So, shameless plug here, but the Circuit of Success podcast. See what I did there? So we talk about your attitude, your belief system, the actions that you take ultimately get results in your life. Those are the circuits, right? And without one of those things, you're not going to go somewhere. So we have a lot of business leaders and amazing people in the crowd here today. What belief system do you have that you had early on that is still with you today, that no matter what you're doing, this is what I believe and it's going to help me be successful?
I think, I said it earlier, not taking no for an answer. Just knowing that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it. I learned that from, my wife early on, whenever she was just my trainer, whenever, in the off season of 16, she's like, you're a really damn good baseball player. Why don't you believe it? And I was like, because I've all this self-doubt. I had a lot of stuff going on in my head that, I got in my own way. So not taking no for an answer and just having the confidence that whatever I put my mind to, I'm going to accomplish it.
Well, what do you do with that self-doubt? And for me, if I have the self-doubt, I call it the person on my shoulder over here, and I talk trash to that person, right? Because that person wants to knock you down in whatever we do in life. And so how do you talk trash to that chip on your shoulder over there?
Yeah, it's probably a lot of words, and I don't want to say over this mic in front of everybody. No, I honestly do a thing. It's kind of journaling, but I call it burning demons. If I feel like kind of in a rut, kind of stuck, I'll physically write down the negative thoughts that I feel are holding me back, and I'll tear them out of my journal and I'll physically light them on fire and burn them. And that kind of once I do that, the physical action of lighting them up, writing them down, lighting them on fire, I feel like a weight's kind of been lifted off my shoulders, and then I can kind of go forward on that path.
I like that. I'm going to try that. Talk to us about the clubhouse before a huge game. Whether it's a playoff game, can you feel that pressure in the locker room? And if so, how do you handle that?
I don't know if I would say you could feel the pressure. We all know what's at stake. We know it's a big game. Everybody's kind of, it's honestly once we get in from batting practice, the hour and a half, 2 hours that we have before the game goes live, it's very quiet. Some music, soft music playing on in the background, but a lot of the guys are sitting at their locker, headphones on, meditating, listening to their own music, watching video, kind of visualizing, whoever's out on the mound starting that game, they're kind of running through at bats. So it's very I would say it's calm in there. Everybody knows that the game's a big game, but we all know that we're going out there and, we have the expectation that we're going to beat that team.
I think it's cool that you've talked about meditation, because I think, especially as a guy, right, sometimes I don't want to tell people I meditate, right? But I do. I meditate all the time, and it's helped change my life. And so when you walk everybody through that, what's that look like? Are you using an app? I mean, how are you doing that?
For me, it's I'm big with my faith. So a lot of it's just, I'll say a short little prayer, and then I'll throw some music with no words, kind of music that you would hear if you were in a massage or spa, and just I visualize, I kind of tie meditation and visualization together, where I have that soft music going. I say my little prayer, and then I'm visualizing what I want to do that night. I see the ball, I see myself making contact with the ball. I see the ball leaving the bat and then finding the outfield grass, and I'm not fast, but I see myself rounding the bases and whatnot. And I kind of visualize the success that I want to have on a night in and night out basis. Yeah.
So visualization's key then for you?
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. Talk about the moments, you look at the pressure, right? We were talking about that, you don't really feel it, but what makes the best teammate, if you will, that's a champion teammate versus just a normal dude that's in the Major League Baseball?
It's a great question. I think, the championship teammate knows that he can sense whenever you don't have the best game, you fail, because at the big league level, you fail, 7 out of 10 times you're still a Hall of Famer. So having a guy that, is really, really good come over after the game and kind of put his arm around you and be like, hey, you're still a damn good baseball player. You're going to help us win the game tomorrow. So, go home, get some rest, and show up tomorrow and expect that you're going to do some great things. So I think having a teammate that kind of understands how difficult it is to play the game of baseball at the Major League level, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, really kind of stays even kill through a course of a 162 game season. That's big time, especially for like my first couple years, as a young player. That seeing, Matt Holliday, Yadier, Wainwright kind of be those championship teammates that, Waino, he went out there and gave up, 7 runs in an outing. He was still the same guy before that game as he was after the game, after he gave up those 7 runs. And seeing a guy like that just failed, it kind of lost the game for us, still laughing, carrying on with his teammates, and then being able to put his arm around a younger player that didn't have the best night at the plate, be like, hey, you're gonna do something special tomorrow and help us. I think that's a big key in being a good teammate. I
know we're on camera here, but I want you to be honest with us here. So I was thinking about this last night. I'm like, man, I feel so bad for the closers that come in. They end up blowing the lead, right? Now, thank God we won again last night in a walk-off, which we'll talk about these Cardinals later. But is Adam Wainwright still the same when he threw a gem and then some guy comes in and gives 2 runs up in the bottom of the 9th and they lose?
For the most part, yes. Obviously,
dude, what were you doing?
Yeah, obviously you want that win. You go out there and you leave it all on the line and you throw a really good game, and then, some guy comes in and gives up the runs and you get the no decision. But I think those guys they know once he hands the ball to the manager, he knows that he did his job. And now he's passing the baton on to the next guy to do their job. And, that's a situation where if that's the case, he's going to come in and pat the guy on the ass and, be like, hey, it is what it is. That's baseball. Stuff's going to happen. So, no, he, for the most part, he is the same guy.
As we tell our amazing Predators baseball team, turn the page, right? Make the next play. Don't make 2 dumb plays. Just make the next one, right?
Yep.
Talk about short-term memory. I had a conversation with a baseball player once, and he said, you got to have a short-term memory. Was that true for you?
Absolutely. I started working with, once I got to the Nationals, I wish I would have did it early on in my career, but once I got to the Nationals, we had a great, sports psychologist that was with us every game. He had an office in the home clubhouse. He would travel with us. He had this thing where it was like a mini toilet, and it would have a flush button on it. And it would make the sound of flushing a toilet. So his thing was if you make an error, if you strike out in a big situation, you got to be able to flush that moment. And, it's kind of the same as turning the page. You got to have that short-term memory. And, but our thing, that was my mantra, was if I was out in the field and I made an error, and I was saying to myself, just flush it. Ball's going to find me again. And if I'm still thinking about that error, then I'm not going to be ready to make this next play.
Yeah. Yeah. Not fun. And I think, What'd you learn the most about slumps? Right, maybe you go 0 for your last 15 or something like that.
I had
what do you do?
That were way more than 0 for 15.
Do you remember your longest slump?
I want to say mine was maybe 2 for 50.
2 for 50.
Yeah, it was not good. I was breaking a lot of bats in those 50 at bats against the wall, down in the clubhouse and whatnot. But yeah, Once I learned that, slumps happen, the more that you think about it, the more that you put pressure on yourself to get out of the slump, the longer you stay in the slump.
Yeah. It's like work, right? I mean, we can get in slumps at work and but if you focus on it, man, it's going to continue to happen.
100%.
Talk about the time where you got the phone call and they said, Matt, you're coming to the big leagues.
Yeah, we were playing in Vegas. At the time, it was the New York Mets AAA team. I think it was the 4th inning. We're killing them. Just scored, slid in the home plate, scored, and then the next guy made the 3rd out, and I was grabbing my first base glove, and I just crossed. We were in the third base dugout. I just crossed the third base line, almost to the mound, and I hear my manager, who's Pop Warner, who's the third base coach for the Cardinals now, yelling my name, and I turn around, and I'm like, I didn't think I did anything wrong to get pulled from the game. So I see him waving me into the dugout, and in my mind, it was I either got traded or I was getting the call that I was expecting to eventually get to make my major league debut. And I got in there and kind of gave me he beat around the bush a little bit, and I knew as soon as he started talking, I'm like, I'm going to the big leagues. So he told me, he's like, hey, you're done. Berkman hurt his knee tonight in the game. He got pulled. You're going to go make your debut tomorrow night, Sunday Night Baseball in Dodger Stadium. So I was like, dang, to make it in Dodger Stadium, Sunday Night Baseball, national televised game, to go in, call my parents, my mom and dad are crying. I'm crying on the phone, packing my bag. And I think my flight was at 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Agent picked me up from the LAX airport and took me to his house where I could kind of calm down a little bit. I had some downtime before I had to be at the stadium since it was a later game on Sunday. He made me breakfast and kind of he knew it. He had players that made their debut. I had no idea what to expect. I was like a kid in a candy shop. I was so nervous. I just wanted to get to the stadium. He's like, dude, if you get this, you're going to beat everybody in the stadium if you get to the stadium at 9 in the morning. But to be able to walk in that clubhouse and see all the, Waino's jersey, Yadier's jersey, and guys that I looked up to, whenever I was in college, playing, I'm like, damn, I made it. And then but I got a phone call from Mo, before I went to the field. And he's like, hey, we don't know if we're going to activate you or not, for the game. I'm like, it's like Pop told me the night before that I was going to be starting. Berkman hurt his knee. And then I think they told me about an hour and a half before game time that I was starting first base. So whirlwind of emotions, but to be able to make my debut in Dodger Stadium, Sunday Night Baseball, it was a memory that I'll hold close to my heart forever.
That's awesome, man. That's a very cool story. I'm like a squirrel in the room, right? So my ADD kicks in. How the heck do they just have a sewing machine waiting for you and they just put your name and number on the back of the jersey? How does that even happen?
Yeah, they, we were on the road, so they send it over to a lot of the clubhouse managers. They're they're basically seamstresses. They can handle a sewing machine and, sew the patch, the numbers and the nameplate on the back of the jersey. So they sent them over to the Dodgers home clubhouse person. Got the jersey ready, hung them up in my locker, and I was like, it was very cool.
So who was the first person you talked to in the locker room? Do you remember?
Skip Schumacher.
Really?
Yeah. He came in, he gave me a big hug, and he's like, listen, we told you in spring training that you belong on this team, and we all knew it was a matter of time before you come up and you help the team out. And having a guy like that caliber of player to be able to do that, that kind of set me at ease and, kind of lifted some weight early on. So I knew I could just be myself. That's what they were saying. Do not try to be Lance Berkman. Don't just be Matt Adams. Be the guy that got you the call. And that, that advice really, really helped out.
I mean, Skip, I don't even know where he's at. Where's he at now?
He's managing Texas Rangers.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you saw the leadership in him when you guys were playing. Was he in the minors with you at all?
No.
So he beat you there.
Yep.
That's awesome. What a good dude. When you think about game number 4, 2014 NLDS, probably know where I'm going. I forget who was on the mound.
Guy named Kershaw.
Who was it?
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw. That's right. Clayton Kershaw was on the mound. Cardinals are down 2-0. Bottom of the 7th. Nobody out. 2 men on base. It was Peralta and Holiday.
Yep. 1-0 count.
I watch that 5 times a day, just so you know. I sit in my office watching. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing.
I watch it all the time. I have to.
It's part of visualization, right?
You talk about, being in slumps, and whenever I would get in those ruts, that was a video that I would always go to. Pull it up on YouTube, and it'd take me back to that moment, like it was just yesterday. I'm gonna get goosebumps thinking about it, but hearing the 50,000 plus rocking, waving the white rally towels, seeing the pitch, having Vin Scully and Joe Buck on the call. I
thought Joe Buck did a better job, by the way.
Yeah. I think Joe Buck, he can announce the crap out of a baseball game. He learned from the best.
Right.
So I watch that video at least probably 50, 60 times a year.
Yeah, I would too.
No matter what I'm doing.
Can you reenact your
No, nobody here wants to see me try to jump up in the air.
I want to see you. Do we want to see him jump up and down? Yes or no? So walk us through that. So obviously you hit the home run. I saw something which I think is amazing because you said you saw the curveball come out of his hand, and you have like a millisecond to swing and decide what's coming. Like, how do you see one of the best pitchers in our generation? You guys always just killed Clayton Kershaw for some reason. How do you see that curveball coming out and set back and then drive that thing?
Yeah, I was a guy that I always was on time for the fastball. No matter who was on the mound, I always got my load and got on time for the fastball. And when a guy like that has a curveball like that, you see it pop out of the hand. So watching video and stuff before the game, night before, like, like slow motion video, once it gets to the height, whether it's going to be a strike or not. And so yeah, I was in the box, 1-0 count. I saw that ball pop out of his hand. I'm like, this is the one I want to go after. So like, I'm sitting there in the box trying to tell myself, like, don't swing too hard. Like, don't get too big. Like, this is a good pitch to go after. And just took my nice, easy swing and made contact, and the rest was kind of history until like I saw Kemp kind of running back on the wall, like towards the wall. Like, I was like, oh crap, I gotta get moving. Because what I did not want to happen was that ball not go over the fence and me still standing at home plate thinking I hit a home run.
Whoa, that backfires.
I would not hear the end of that from my teammates. But yeah, a couple hard steps out of the box, seeing the ball land in the dugout, and I, like, one of my close friends, Michael Waka, seeing him go crazy in the bullpen, jumping up and down. I was like, I just did that. And then round and round, I there's a quote out there. I don't think I felt the dirt rounding the bases until like I got in the dugout, and then it kind of sunk in. Like, I touched home plate. Peralta, Holiday, celebrating with them at home plate. I'm running past like the DeWitt family's right there, front row by the on deck circle. They're waving, the towers going crazy. Everybody in the dugout's going crazy. And like, what a lot of people don't realize is bottom of the seventh inning, we still have 2 innings left. Anything could happen. We're only up 1 run. Like, we have to get 6 outs because we did not want to get on a plane and go back to Dodger Stadium for Game 5. So I had to go down into the batting cages and lay down and like kind of like talk myself into like getting my stuff back together, like catching my breath and
That's awesome.
being able to go out there and play defense in the 8th and 9th inning. So yeah, but like that moment, like, was something special.
I think that's so cool. And thanks for sharing that, because we see it and then we don't even see what happens. We don't know I think I saw a video last night when I was prepping that you laid down like in the batting cages underneath and like started breathing to get your heart rate down. And all that stuff. And I just think that's so cool. So you go back out now. How do you turn the page and get ready to go? Because I think sorry to interrupt, but I think it worked, right? Something big happens, and then you got to turn the page, man.
Well, the stadium, like, you don't even, like, it's so loud. Like, for me, like, I only heard like a buzzing sound. Like, you couldn't even hear like what people were saying. Like, it was like a constant buzz. But we knew that place was rocking. Like, you could like physically feel the place like shaking, standing on like the infield dirt. So I knew like, hey, like, but once that first pitch was fired in the top of the 8th inning, I was like, all right, it's just the 8th inning. Go out there, get 3 outs, and then we go back in and try to get some more runs.
I mean, think about that. It's 12 years ago. You can still go to a Cardinal game today and they'll replay that on Jumbotron, which is so cool.
I mean, the Dodgers were just here, like, and I had I do some stuff with the Cardinal alumni group, and was doing an event Friday night, and like they replayed it like on the Jumbotron. I did the post game live from Ballpark Village. They played it over there, and it's just like, I Dodger fan. I had to sign a Kershaw jersey. I'm like, I was like, I don't know if you want me on. Like, it was like the Players Weekend, like it just had Kersh on the back and number 22. They're like, yeah, sign right on the 2. I'm like, you want my autograph on Kershaw's jersey? I'm like, I don't want to disrespect him.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's going in the Hall of Fame.
But kind of cool.
Yeah, really cool. So I signed the number 2, and they're like, yeah, put Big City on. They asked me to put like Kershaw Killer. And I'm like, no, I'm not going that far. If you look at my numbers, like, he had like that was like obviously the biggest moment, in my career off Kershaw, but like I think I hit below 100 against him. Like, he's a tough left.
We're not here to talk about that. Let's change the subject.
But no, to be able to like, I'll get stopped, we live in Clayton on the other side of the river, and like my wife and I will be out walking our dogs, and like people will like pull their car over and stop and want to talk about that homer. So it's like it's part of Cardinal
it's
history.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, you think about that. You think of obviously David Freese in 2011. You think of Edmonds' catch, right?
Yep.
And the Pujols home run that Brad Lidge still wishes.
I think that ball's still. Yeah, I don't think that ball's landing.
That was unbelievable. Who impacted you the most, from a player, from a coach, whether that's the Cardinals or another team? Who was somebody out there that really impacted you?
That's a great question. I mean, first and foremost, it was my parents. Being able to make all the sacrifices at such a young age, make sure I got to practice on time. They never missed a game. To have that support from an early age, that was huge. And then as I climbed the ranks, I had a guy in my hometown that played minor league baseball, so that's the guy that I would hit with. I'd do lessons with him. And I went away to college, and like my college coach was really the guy that kind of got me kind of serious about like working out, like taking this a little bit serious instead of just like thinking of it as a game. Like he's like, you could be something special in this game if you put your mind to it. So I would probably my college coach.
So it wasn't your 12-year-old baseball coach?
12-year-old baseball coach was my dad.
So
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How about players? So think about, I'll name a couple if you want to name others, and we'll get to some questions from you all as well. But when I say Adam Wainwright, I say Yadier Molina. Obviously, you mentioned him earlier. Talk about their leadership. Talk specifically about Yadi and these pitchers never calling him off, and just how good of Herrera last night hit a home run and referenced him in the post-game speech, right? I talked to Yadi and so on. So talk about those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Yadi's in a league of his own. I mean, even more so than Waino. Like Yadi, before every game, like we were out in batting practice, he would kind of run shop on like the hitters meeting, go over the game plan for that night's pitcher and what the offense was going to try to do, if they were going to bunt, hit and run a lot. He knew everything. He was the first guy to the clubhouse, last guy to leave. Like you never saw him. Like he was always like, I think he had his own little special little room in that clubhouse that it was a TV of computer with video, and that's where Yadi we know he was never in the cafeteria. He was all we saw when we were out on the field for BP. That's when we saw Yadi, and then until game time, he was not seen. He was always studying, doing he was 5-6 steps ahead of everybody else on that baseball field. Waino was kind of the same way. He helped pitchers out tremendously. But to go back to Yadi, there were a few players, younger players, that kind of thought they knew better than Yadi and shook him off. And he eventually, that was before the pitch com, and he eventually just stopped giving signs. It's just throw whatever you want, I'll catch it. So he didn't know what was coming, and he just put the glove up, and the guy threw what he wanted, and I think some of them got hit for homers, and then he get in their ass a little bit in the dugout after we got out of the inning a little bit. But yeah, those guys were huge in my development and my growth as not only as a player but as a man. Just how to go about being a true professional both on and off the field. Because everybody thinks being a professional athlete's glitz and glam, and you get done with the game, you go out party with your friends. That's part of it, but you're also a member of the community, so you have to hold yourself to a high standard. And those two guys were top notch in that area, and they helped all the younger players that came through, that put the Cardinal jersey on, to really go about it the right way.
Yeah. And did they give you feedback? If Yadi saw you doing something he didn't like, are they getting, even if you play obviously different positions, but they're still getting on you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're true competitors. They want to win every game. They don't want to give anything to the competition. And Yadi helped me out big time at first base. We'd have a signal with each other. If some off speed was coming, he'd kind of give me a sign with his throwing arm and let me know curveball was coming. If it was a left-handed pull hitter where I could take a step towards the line, or he would send me the other way towards the hole, and helped me save a lot of balls from going through that 4-hole between first base and second base. And so Yeah,
It's back when you could have 3 infielders on one side.
Yeah, looking back with the shift roles now, I wish I was still playing because I'd have a lot more hits.
900 more for the Cardinals, right? Talk about the best home, obviously, besides the 2014 NLDS. What's one of the biggest Cardinal moments for you personally?
Oh. Hey, put me on the spot. It's not a homer. Really. I think, my first full season with the club in 13, being able to, we lost Alan Craig to injury in September, and, I stepped in and filled in, was starting first baseman. I think being able to stand on Fenway as a rookie starting in the World Series, against Boston, in Boston, I think that was a pretty cool moment.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got a funny Yadier story about that. Everybody's from Illinois over here knows. So Yadier was our neighbor for a while. Some of us in this deal, and so you guys lost the series in 2013 on October 30th. Halloween was obviously October 31st, and my second son Drew was Yadier for Halloween. And so we're walking up to the house. I mean, neck tattoos and everything, right? It's raining, so it's like a little bit of coming down his neck. And we walk up, and Yadier opens the door. I'm like, holy crap. He has light on, so we go up there. And Yadi's like, let me guess, you're Albert. And my son turns around, and he sees Molina 4, and he's like, you're me? And I was like, man, that was so cool. Awesome. And then so he gave him candy, and then he's like, hey, you guys want to take a picture or whatever? So we have a picture of the kids, with Yadier as dressed up as Yadier. So that was pretty cool. I don't know why I told that story, but I did.
No, yeah, I mean, Yadier, like any Yadier story,
it was cool.
Worth telling.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, hopefully you guys thought it was cool too. So kind of cool. Best baseball park to play in.
Whew. I mean, I'm biased. I gotta say Busch. But outside of Busch, probably the new Braves Stadium. I got traded, like today, like 9-year anniversary of me getting traded to the Braves. And that was the first year of, back then it was SunTrust Park. Now it's Truist Park. But that ballpark, it was awesome. Awesome.
So how does that go down? So you get traded. Where were you at when that happens? And how does that conversation go?
I was starting that night at first base, and I was in the shower getting ready to, come out and, put the jersey on, put my headphones on and do my meditation routine before I go out and get ready for the game. And I get yanked, like the clubhouse guy comes in, I'm like mid shower. He goes, hey, Matheny needs to see you in his office. I'm like, why? He goes, I don't know. He just told me he needs to see you. Go get Matt Adams. So dripping wet, put like shirt, shorts on it, go in Matheny's office. And I knew something was up because he was emotional. And I'm like, is everything okay? He goes, take a seat. I go, am I getting sent down? Like, this was like, I'm 4 or 5 years into my big league career. I don't think I'm going down to AAA. He goes, no, we just traded you to the Atlanta Braves. And I'll run into him on occasion. He's like, dude, when I told you that, like, you just kind of slid off the couch, and I was devastated because all I've ever known was Cardinal baseball. My friends are here, whatnot. So that was at 6 o'clock before a 6:35 game. I go home, pack up my apartment. I'm on a 6:30 a.m. flight to Atlanta for a 12:35 game. I'm starting because Freddie Freeman broke his wrist. He got hit by a pitch, so I knew I was playing every day basically. One of the worst games of my baseball career. I was facing Strasburg on 2.5 hours.
Welcome
of sleep,
to Atlanta,
right? 0-for-5 with 4 strikeouts, and I'm like, this is a great first impression. So I go back to the hotel, and I'm like, I'm pissed. One of the worst games of my career. I tell my wife now, she kind of helped me move. She was my trainer at the time. She came with me to get me settled. She goes, what the hell is wrong with you? She goes, would you have rather got sent down to AAA in Memphis and still been with the Cardinals? I said, yeah. She goes, She goes, I want to punch you right now. Like that was the most stupid thing that you could you're going to be the starting first baseman for the Atlanta Braves. Like, get your head out of your ass. So like after that game, like kind of like what we talked about earlier, like flushing that bad game and turn around and like you'll be able to impact the next night's game. I walked him off after like a 2.5 hour rain delay, 13th inning against the Pirates, won the game for us. So like after that moment, I was like, okay, like,
this guy's not that bad.
This is okay. It's going to be good. But it's like a lot of people think that like you have all this time to pack up your life and figure out what you're doing. No, it was like 6-7 hour time frame where I had to pack up my apartment and move across the country and then play in a game the next day.
Yeah, it's true, man. We think, oh, we just got this new guy. That's exciting. You don't think about how it changed their lives and new friends, new restaurants, new way to the ballpark, new locker room, new teammates, right? You're the new guy, so that would be tough. Talk about, I was curious about this too. I don't know why I'm asking this one either, but it's like you go play a game, let's see, tomorrow. The Cardinals play at 12:45 against the Pirates. Game's over. They fly to Cincinnati. So just tell us a little background, like stuff that we wouldn't know. Like what happens? So the game's over tomorrow at whatever, 3 o'clock, 3:45.
That plane ride gets a little crazy.
Okay.
It's a little party at 40,000 feet in the air. That's for sure. Especially after a day game. I don't know if they have an off day the next day.
No, so they play tomorrow. Tomorrow's, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah, so they play Thursday, then they play Friday in Cincinnati, Friday night.
But, I mean, you land, like, they're going to get there in time to, Jeff Ruby's Steakhouse in Cincinnati is one of the best.
So that's what they'll do.
They're, and he's a big-time baseball fan. So, like, he'll roll the red carpet out for players. They may do, like, a team dinner. That's what was so cool about the teams that I was on, like Waino, Holiday, Lance Lynn, Jake Westbrook, those kind of veteran players. On days like that, we good?
Yeah. Close them out, maybe up here. I don't know.
They would organize a team dinner, so we'd build chemistry. We'd land, have about an hour or so to ourselves, and then we go enjoy a team dinner and tell stories, sit around, have a good meal, have some drinks, and then get ready to go play some ball the next day.
Who pays the bill?
One of the veteran guys that are on long-term contract.
You're making $100 million. You're paying for the bill.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Funny thing is, like, they'll mess with like some of the rookies and like they'll say like they're playing like credit card roulette and whatnot. Mine it was 2012, so like I like. No money. I was like coming from AAA, living paycheck to paycheck, and kind of like that situation. Day game, we land. I want to say we landed it was either in Pittsburgh or Atlanta. We landed and we went to this nice restaurant. There was like 15 guys there. So I think there was like 4 rookies. So we put our cards in the hat and mine got pulled, and I start sweating. I'm like. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to afford this bill.
It's not going to work.
And they had the waitress take my card, and I'm like, this is going to get declined. I'm in a room full of professional athletes, and this is not what I want to do. But one of the veteran guys would kind of slip the waitress their card, and they were just playing a joke. But they know that it's their kind of. Not obligation, but they do it because they love it, and that's what kind of builds team chemistry.
Did you play golf on the road? You're more of a golfer now.
I'm more of a golfer now, but I wish I would have taken advantage of some of the great courses that in some of the cities that we played in. I wish I would have been a golfer then. Looking back on it, I missed out on some cool courses.
Being a pitcher would be better because you have 4 days to go play golf.
I mean, those guys in spring training, they're on the golf course by 9:45 in the morning. They come in, do their work, and then their day's done.
You got to keep that arm.
I lived with Lance Lynn 2017.
Marion, Illinois boy.
Yeah.
Not from there.
Man, watching that was a fun spring training. Like if he wasn't pitching in a spring training game, I'd come home after playing in a game, and he was already 4 or 5. Double tequila sodas gone.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, pitchers, they have it good. They take their bags everywhere. Even if they're pitching. I played with some guys that would go out and, if they're starting a pitcher, they don't have to be at the field till 3:34 for a 7 o'clock
Yeah,
game.
you can easily get 18.
So they're out there 8 in the morning playing 18 on some of these nice courses, going home and taking a nap.
Yeah. Any moments, maybe from the night before that you came out the next day, maybe a little tired, a little groggy, stayed out a little too late, but then you had like a hell of a game?
Yeah, my first big league homer. I had a night like that.
Which is only 6 days into your career, I believe. Not career, but your big league career, right?
We were here. 4 or 5 of my close high school buddies came in town, and we partied it up.
Where was that party?
It was on the landing. I probably wouldn't go there now. But yeah, we did 5 or 6 different bars downtown after the game, and I think I rolled into my hotel room at probably 4:30 in the morning, and we had a day game the next day.
Oh,
so
my God.
It was like a 95, 98 degree day. We were facing, I think, Cliff Lee at the time. Cool. One of the tough lefties for the Phillies. Got 2 hits off them. Like, I was too tired to where I had no time to think. I was just operating on like adrenaline.
Don't vomit on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out and talked to my boys before the game, and like they were struggling, sweating in the stands. I'm like, you guys don't have to go play like a baseball game.
Right.
But no, and then another one that comes to mind, like we had some weather trouble on a trip back in from New York. We had a Sunday night game, and we were playing Monday, but we didn't get in till like, I think 9:30 in the morning because of weather delay and everything. And I think I went 4 for 5 that night with a couple homers. So like those kind of games where like you're too tired, your body's operating solely on adrenaline, where like you have no time to think. You're just going out there and just doing whatever you can to get through the game.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm going to ask a couple more questions, and then we'll open it up. So think about your questions. So Beyond, that's where we're at, right? So this is more than a bar. This is a community. We have amazing people, and it's called Beyond for a reason. It's about going beyond your own self-limiting beliefs, right? Going beyond for your community, going beyond for your family. When you hear that, going beyond, what's that mean for you?
I think like I think the message, kind of the mantra for this place, I think that I hold that close to my walk in life now is like, I'm more of a base than just a baseball player. I have more to offer to this community, this life than just baseball. I'm a good human, got a good heart. I want to give back. I believe that me and my family, we go above and beyond for people. We want to make them feel the best. So yeah, I think like what you just said, I think that holds true to my whenever I hear what's beyond mean to me, that's it.
Awesome. Questions from anybody here? We'll get these going. Andrew?
Well, someone always has to go first, so I won't ask the typical baseball question. I'm going to ask more because we've got some people who are at different seasons of their lives. Some are getting ready to start jobs. Some are getting ready to retire. You retired recently. Talk about the fear of retirement, right? And I bring that up because on your podcast you always talk about, is the fear, is it as great as you think it's going to be? But what lessons have you learned in retirement that you wish you would have known beforehand that you could have planned for, or in that next season of life? Give us some.
So real quick, the question, if you didn't hear it, is what could you plan for that season of life, whether you're starting a career but now you in retirement, what could you have planned for?
That's a great question. I retired whenever I was 35, so I knew that like I had to do something else. I wasn't, I wasn't fortunate enough to, have this 10-year contract, made $100 million where I could just kind of play golf every day,
right,
and not do anything. But I knew that I wanted to be involved in the game in some capacity. Like I want to manage. So I jumped straight into coaching. I knew that like I wanted to give back to the next generation of baseball players. So being able to do that, I was AAA bench coach last year for the San Diego Padres affiliate in El Paso. So that helped out big time to, I retired. I played in Mexico in 2024, and then I retired and jumped straight into coaching. So I really didn't have time to really think about what that next phase in life looked like until this past offseason, when I knew I wasn't going back to the Padres organization. And I think to answer your question, I wish I would have been smarter with my money like early on in my career, where I would have like made like smart investments. And when I had a lot of people don't know this, but we had a financial advisor that was stealing from us for 5 years that found out through, my wife and I bought a house, and going back through some emails and whatnot, the mortgage wasn't done right, and that's how we found out that he was stealing from us. So I wish that I would have been a little bit more hands-on in that area of my life to be able to plan for retirement and the next phase in life, to where, I do some smart investments and really take charge of our money.
I teed that up great.
What he meant to say was he wished he knew visionary wealth advisors. Other questions?
Yeah, since we're in the beautiful community of O'Fallon, one of our great residents here in O'Fallon is Billy Finley
Oh, Billy.
from the Cardinals groundskeeper. I was wondering if you had any insight you could share on Billy, or your relationship with Billy, or just whether he does a good job or not.
And if you can notice, his friend back there is filming this.
I know. I think Bill is if like one of the best grounds crew, and I'm not just saying this because you get like he's from here. Like I love Billy. Like I built a great relationship with him. He always would be the guy that I would come out early for batting practice. He'd come over and want to like talk about like, what'd you do last night? How are you doing today? Like, he made it a point to like make a relationship with me, and like I hold that close because there's not a lot of people in this game that would do that. So he does a great job on the field. I mean, Busch Stadium is immaculate to play on, but more so than that, he's just a great human. He cares about his job, but he cares about the players more so, I think.
That backfired, didn't it? I mean, think about that, though. Like, they literally just changed the entire field. Like, was it last week or the week before? I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but they got it all the way down to, like, dirt. Took every piece of grass off and put new grass on that could stand the heat.
They're amazing at what they...
And then the concerts and all this.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, like, whenever, like... the field doesn't, especially here, I played in some places that if there's concerts, on a road trip and we get back, like it looks like there's a concert stage in the outfield grass. But here, like they do such a, like this is, I would say this, Atlanta, in Nationals Park, like three organizations I was with 2 different times, like they're probably top 5 in baseball, those 3.
I did think that was cool. You were with all 3 of those teams twice.
In the Nationals 3 times.
3 times.
2023, yeah, I signed back with them.
That says a lot, though, right? That means they want you back. It's like the crowd liked you. They're not going to bring you back if you're an asshole.
Exactly. Like whenever I would sign that deal to go back to that team for the second time, I was like, I must have done something right. Yeah.
This feels good.
Yeah.
Other questions? Where'd the nickname Big City come from?
Lance Berkman gave it to me. 2012 spring training, I was a bigger dude back then. I was probably weighing close to 290 back in 2012. From a small little town in central Pennsylvania of about 900 to 1,000 people. And I show up day 1 of spring training, and Berkman he's an unbelievable teammate, unbelievable human, puts his arm around me and goes, "Hey, Biggin." He goes, "I'm tired of big guys being nicknamed Big Country, so we're going to call you Big City." And then after he left in 2013, Freeze kind of kept it rolling, and it just kind of stuck.
How many beers could you drink in a day? At 290 or whatever it is now? Which one?
You don't get that big if you
No, at 290, I wasn't a beer drinker. I was double Jack and Coke guy. Yeah.
That'll
So
do it.
I could put him down.
That's funny.
I had to clean my life up though after I made that change in 2016.
It's awesome. Eric?
All right, minor league question. Obviously, you had some great years in the minors, even years like you didn't make the big league team out of spring training. Like you talked about faith, coaches, parents. When you were sitting there having a good year and you're like, why the hell aren't they calling me up? Who'd you turn to, or what was your mindset at that point?
That's a great question. I had two of my teammates that I was really close with. Those were the guys that I kind of leaned on. They could tell whenever I was pissed off, frustrated, if I wasn't myself. So like, I'd watching guys that like would be hitting 250 get called up, and I'm like, I'm hitting 330 with damage, like RBIs, homers. But at the time, I didn't realize that like the whole player clock, like the clock that started once you got called up, the roster configuration where the guys that got called up in front of me in those spots, they didn't really, like, looking back on it, they didn't really care about those guys because they could send those guys back down, they could release them, DFA them, and they didn't care if they weren't with a Cardinal. Where like I was like one of the prospects once I got to AA. And he didn't want my clock to start. So once I realized that, it was easier to just kind of understand that, this is the business side of baseball, and I could just go do my job and try to, put together good game after good game. And then eventually I knew that call would come. But it was like early on, the mindset was tough because like I was frustrated. I was pissed off. I was searching for a lot of, reasons why, but I had a teammate of mine that just like, you're gonna make it. It's just a matter of time. So like, hearing that and kind of like buying into the fact that like, with me being a man of faith, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Being a man of faith, like I knew that like I could just like turn to God and like trust that like His timing was everything. That like everything happens for a reason, and that like that. In 2012, once Berkman got hurt, that was whenever I was supposed to debut. It wasn't, a day earlier. It wasn't a day later. So, like, really being a man of my faith and, like, trusting that, like, that really helped me through those tough times of seeing guys get the call before me.
Love it. Other questions? Pete?
So they have their claim to fame. We have Bubba, Dennis, shoots and hoppers.
Wow.
Shooter.
So Fallon's got your guy,
Throwing it out there.
Belleville.
Shooter's the man, by the way.
65 miles an hour.
If you don't know who he is the batting practice pitcher.
He should throw in every home run derby.
He really should.
He throws the best BP that I've ever faced. For a lefty, he throws like a little baby
That's
like
pretty awesome.
cutter, so it would run right into my barrel. Like I always, he would always throw group 3. So like I made a career of being like a bench guy, so I wasn't an everyday starter. So I hit in group 3 a lot. So I was like, yeah, I get to hit off Shooter today. So I was able to like put on some like good BP shows.
But you said something earlier that stood out in my mind earlier about putting your headphones on, sitting in the locker room, and people think about baseball being a team sport. But sometimes it's an individual sport. Like you're sitting there putting your mind to what am I going to do on the field today? Tennis, golf, these are individual sports, but sometimes everybody thinks baseball, football, those sports are team sports, and you have a team to pick you up. That's not always the truth. So, because earlier you said that I got to put my mind in place to play this game tonight. And it's more of an individual sport than you think.
Yeah, I mean, like playing first base, like I'm involved in a lot of the plays on defense. So like I knew if my mind wasn't in the right spot, I was going to do more harm than good being out there. If a ball was hit to me, I wasn't going to be in the right spot. I'd be thinking about something else. So yeah, to your point, it is a little bit of like an individualized sport, but like we all knew that we had to, like everybody in that clubhouse had a different job on a nightly basis. So we wanted to be the best version of ourselves for the Cardinals. So we knew that like the majority of my time with the Cardinals, I was like the first left-handed bat off the bench. So I knew that come the 5th inning that I had a routine that I would start getting ready, depending on if there was a right-handed or left-handed arm getting ready in the bullpen. I would go down and face. We had a left-handed BP pitcher that would throw in the cage. We had a right-handed pitcher. So I had a routine that I knew that I would get myself ready so that if my name was called that night to be the pinch hitter, that I was ready to go.
We got to step up our Predators game. We need a righty and a lefty and to warm them up. Any other questions out here? While you're thinking for more, I have one. What do you think about this new tarps off people? I mean, how incredible is this?
I think it's great. I like one. I think being the youngest team in baseball, I think those guys are feeding off that energy. Yeah. I mean, clearly those boys in town, I think they won 3 of the 4 games that they were here, 4 or 5 of the games that they were here. But it's little things like that that can turn a season around for a club. So,
right. It's like the rally squirrel.
Yeah. But every year, like the team that wins the World Series, I believe that there's a story that happens in the middle of that season. So I'm not sitting here saying that the Cardinals are going to win the World Series this year, but like it's little things like that that kind of change the momentum, change the mojo of the season, where like those guys in that clubhouse, they know that like they're putting the uniform on to go out and play in front of 30 to 35,000 people, and there's going to be some rowdy people out there in the right field bleachers with their shirts off, egging them on to do good things. So and watching the one guy that started it throughout the first pitch yesterday, they left. I think they're back in Texas now, but walking down the stadium last night, they were part of the Cardinals, and then Ollie bringing them down in the clubhouse and introducing them to the guys down there. Like I just think it's awesome.
I mean, you played when there was 48,000 people on a Monday night against the last place team. These guys didn't see that, right? I mean, we were at the game the other day, and it's like you had to like talk quiet because you're afraid somebody 7 sections over could hear your conversation.
Yeah, I think the attendance the last few years has been. I mean, it's not what the players are used to seeing in Busch Stadium, but like these young guys, they don't know any better. So like for the fan base to be able to bring some energy and bring that rowdiness to a game, those guys feed off that. When I was playing, like we knew, like you said, we knew if it was a Monday day game or against the Pirates, or if it was a Friday night series against the Cubs, Busch was going to be rocking. So there was no like tarps off people like needed in the stadium. Like it was all organic energy, and we knew our adrenaline was going to be through the roof, like from the first pitch to the last pitch. So I think this is a little thing to kind of get those guys going. And I mean, they're tied for second place in the best division in baseball, half game out of first place. So they're playing great baseball, and really excited to see how they continue this success.
We were at lunch today, and there was a couple Cubs fans with us, and I think there's one back there too. They're a half a game in front of the Cubs now, 2-8 in the last 10. Just saying. Well, yeah, he's made some friends, hasn't he? Yeah, he's made some good friends out there. Well, speaking of the Cub card, like, we think it's a big deal as fans, right? Do you as players feel that and sense that?
Yeah, we love that, right? Like anytime we play the Cubs, we knew that it was going to be a dogfight. We hated them, they hated us. When we were in Wrigley, we'd be out there shagging batting practice. Fans would be dumping beer on us. It was ruthless. But we knew what we were getting. But it was awesome. That's what we lived for. We lived for series like that. That in itself is playoff baseball atmosphere. So we knew anytime that we were playing the Cubs that it was going to be like a playoff game. So we wanted to play the Cubs all 162 games of the year.
Does the Braves and Nationals have that?
Not as much. Braves were more like Marlins and the Braves hate each other for some reason. I'm interdivision rivals. I don't know, but not as much as Royals and the Cardinals, Cubs, Cardinals, that kind of stuff. That those two teams didn't really have that.
Any other questions right here, JC?
Aside from the 12U baseball coaches, what major league coach or manager had the biggest impact
What?
on you and why?
Major League Baseball coach or manager had the biggest impact on you and why?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Matheny, because he was my first big league manager.
Even though he traded you?
Yeah, I knew that it wasn't Matheny's choice to trade me. I knew that was from front office and whatnot. It was business side of the game. But the way that just Matheny kind of let us go play like our style of baseball, you know, he didn't put a lot of pressure on us. And when you're at that level, there's so much pressure to perform night in and night out. He did such a good job to kind of relieve that pressure from his players that that I'm grateful for. Brian Snicker with the Braves, like once I got traded over there, like a lot of people don't know this story, but once Freddie came back from the injured list, he went in and told Snit in the front office, he's like, hey, Matt's doing such a good job. I'll move to third base. And like Freddie's a Hall of Fame player and like Gold Glove first baseman that he's like Atlanta was his team. Like, so for him to be able to march into Snit's office and tell him, hey, like I'll move to third base. Like he played third base. Last time he played third base was in high school. Wow. And to have that kind of player do that and then Snit kind of have the respect for me and belief in me to carry that weight to, you know, be the starting first baseman for the Braves for the rest of the season, like that was pretty special.
It's a loud motorcycle. Yeah, fire away.
What advice would you give a young man or young lady who wants to play at the highest level?
Don't take no for an answer, because there's gonna be more doubters than people that believe in you to reach that level. So I think, one, to not take a no for an answer, and two, like believe that you're going to reach that level. Like no matter what anybody else says, have that confidence in, you know, himself or herself to reach that highest level, and don't hold back from chasing that dream.
Laura?
How hard is it to transition from, say, the starting pitcher goes out and then the reliever comes in?
Welcome to Illinois, man.
Right? How much time do you have to balance to like get the starting pitcher out your head, like all of his pitches, and then go to the relief pitcher? Like how does that mess?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of the time we kind of have an understanding of who may come into the game depending on what situation it is. And you see the guys like out there in the bullpen warming up, so like you have time. Like for me, I always like saw a left-handed getting ready in the bullpen because they always brought like a left-handed reliever in to face me to kind of limit the damage. So I knew like before the game even started, I would have watched film and kind of looked over like his like scouting report of like what pitches he throws in certain counts. I would do the starting pitcher that I was facing the night before, and then the day of the game I would kind of run through the bullpen arms that I thought would come in after the starter was out. So like before that guy leaves the game, you kind of have an understanding of who may come in depending on, you know, what situation of the game it is. If they're, you know, the visiting team's winning or losing, you kind of have an understanding. But it's quick. They only get 7 warm-up pitches. So you really, now they have 4 or 5 iPads in the dugout where you're like, you can watch, like if you see like, I don't know if they show it on like live, like usually it cuts the commercial break, but like if you're at the game and there's a pitching change, you can see, especially here at the Cardinals, every hitter, even guys that aren't in the game, they're huddled around the hitting coaches, looking at the video, studying, you know, what this guy's got. And a lot of guys are good, like especially like, you know, to go back to Yadier, like Yadier could tell if this guy that came in the game had his like off-speed pitches per se. Like, so if he wasn't landing, you know, breaking ball or curveball in warm-up pitches, Yadier would just eliminate that pitch from his arsenal, and he would only look for fastball. So like that comes with like years of experience and understanding who's on the mound and what that guy's going to try to do to get you out and whatnot. But like there's kind of little games inside the game that we kind of play with.
Can I ask a college question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a college question? This is good. I can't wait to hear this one.
What was it like the last year when you had both of those records where you just walking around? I mean, you still have the slugging percentage and like you said you had the record and slippery, and you still have both of those?
had the record, 2 records his last year of college. Yeah.
I mean, was that the chip on your shoulder going into the next year in the big leagues, right?
Yeah, I think it all started after that, that sophomore summer where I was the MVP of that collegiate summer league, where against some of the best Division I players, where I carried that into the fall of my junior year, and then.
That was a mindset.
Yeah, I mean, my mindset was solely I did not care about baseball or school, like parents with kids.
What he meant to
and
say
whatnot,
was,
but I knew that I had a good chance of getting drafted. So I was real big on making sure I stayed healthy and that I was doing everything that I could on the baseball side, to where my grades kind of suffered my junior year, but I didn't really care because I wanted to be a baseball player. But yeah, that being able, I hit 495 my junior year, in college. So that, I knew that more times than not that walking up to the plate that this guy wasn't going to get me out. So having that kind of confidence getting drafted, going into pro ball, I knew that I wasn't going to hit 495 in the minors or at the major league level, but I carried that confidence with me to where I don't care what your accolades are as a pitcher, what your last name is, how much experience you have in pro ball, I'm better than you. And that's just that's the mindset that I carried.
Were you able? Sorry.
No, you're good.
To talk about that. A lot of players try to coach, and then some want to see when they coach, they want to see players be better than them. Were you able to articulate that when you did coach? I think that's a big thing when guys transition into coaching. That mindset you talked about is so important. Were you able
Yeah, I wanted my players I wanted them to be the best that they could possibly could be. I didn't care if I wanted them to be better than I was. I loved it if they went out there and had better games than I did. And a lot of the guys that I coached last year were better baseball players than me. But what they needed help with, because our AAA team last year, we were one of the oldest AAA teams in the league. So what they needed help with was their mindset of kind of being the 4A kind of up and down guys that had some big league time that would kind of get sent back down to the minor leagues and wonder why they weren't still at the big league level. So I was more of a kind of a crutch that they could lean on to talk mindset, talk advice about understanding the business side of the game. But once we showed up to the ballpark, I was a coach that I wanted to work. I'd be out there from the moment I got to the field until game time. I would stay out there and I would hit them ground balls. I would flip balls to them in the cage. I just wanted them to be ready to go out there and perform.
Any final questions right here?
So this is kind of a question for anybody who's got kids or grandkids or whatever, right? So nobody enters this world with bombs, right? But somewhere between, 4 years old and now you're in high school or early college, you hit a different gear. What brought that about? What's the one thing that somebody who's got a talented kid, or even moderately talented kid, what would you tell them is the thing that you did that made you start hitting bombs and notice to get a D1 offer?
Yeah, I would start with the work ethic. Obviously, if you're a good enough athlete, in today's world, some kids may kind of slack off and just kind of take for granted that they're going to be good at this sport forever. So I would tell them to get in the gym and start working out, training your body, and eating right. I think nutrition and food is the biggest. I had an aunt that was in kind of the wellness place that kind of got me into that whenever I was 13, 14 years old, where she would go, she'd take me to the gym, pick me up, take me to the gym, and really developed food programs for me, whether I was in season, off season of baseball, whatnot, to where it really helped me, probably a little bit too much, put weight on. But getting in the gym and taking care of my body, that's what really kind of took, because in high school I didn't really hit a lot of home runs. It wasn't until college to where I spent a lot more time in the cage, spent a lot more time in the gym, being with, like-minded people at the college level that wanted to be the best baseball players that they wanted to be, that kind of pushed me to be the best version of myself. That's when the power numbers really kind of took off.
290 doesn't hurt either.
Yeah. It wasn't a good 290.
125 pounds in high school. Not a lot of home runs. Anything else before we shut her down here? One more question. Two more right here. One more question.
So in 2019, remember became a Washington Nationals fan just because I didn't watch you play and Scherzer was on that team. What kind of experience was that to be a world champion?
What kind of experience was it in 2019 watching him and Scherzer, another St. Louis kid, play for the Washington Nationals?
Yeah, I mean, that was...
And win a World Series.
Before spring training started, we kind of like similar to like the Cardinals issue, everybody kind of expected us to be one of the worst teams in baseball. We started out the first 51 games of the season. We were 19-32 that year in 2019. So we made 2 or 3 key trades that kind of really changed the dynamic of that clubhouse. Kind of we brought over some veteran pitchers, a veteran outfielder that kind of got everybody collectively together, more of a family style atmosphere in that clubhouse, all pushing towards the same goal. And we developed a mantra where we were just like, we stopped worrying about our record. And after that 52nd game on to, the last game of that season, we were like, go 1-0 every day. We didn't care what we did before. We didn't care who was coming into town the next series. We wanted to win that game that night, and developing that mindset and moving forward to the end of, that World Series, that last game in Houston. That's really kind of like what we played with. But having guys like Scherzer, Strasburg, Brian Dozier was a key piece in that World Series team. Zim was healthy. Ryan Zimmerman was healthy that year. So like being able to play with the game's best and be able to go through be the wild card team and beat the Brewers and then go on, beat the Dodgers. And then we came here to St. Louis and we swept St. Louis 4-0. We knew that we were a dangerous team. But it all started with that mindset of, not caring about our 19-32 record. We just cared about going 1-0 every day. And those veteran players really did a good job of holding us younger players accountable to that mindset, and everybody kind of just pushed in the same direction and believed in the team that we had, and we at the end of the year we were holding that World Series trophy on Houston's turf.
It's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, and thank you to Matt Adams. You could be anywhere tonight, but you chose to be here, so thank you for being with us.
Thank you again.
Good stuff, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.